Philadelphia from Florida for about 11 years now. Been with the McGrogan Group about a year now, almost coming up pretty soon. It's a great company to work for. Like you mentioned, Dave is an outstanding gentleman. Of all the places I've worked, he's probably one of the best people I've worked for. Honestly, it's just a great environment. I really enjoy going to work every day there and growing this restaurant. So, yes, that's really it about me. I didn't really bounce around too much. I've stayed in a lot of places. I like to kind of own my place and kind of grow there, and that's a big reason why I stuck with came to the McGrogan Group. Don't let him hear you call it fast food, though, Gene. Fast casual. It's our pleasure. Yeah, it took me years to not say my pleasure after someone said thank you. Yeah, so Barbarossa's, we've been around 7 years. We had a location in downtown that had closed, about 5 years ago. Great, nice American Italian restaurant. We are owned by the McGrogan Group, but we are a separate entity. They own the Harvest Seasonal Wine Bar and Grills. Excellent restaurant, so you definitely should check out. They just released their seasonal menu. I dined there a lot in Morristown, New Jersey. I was there at the one in Delray Beach, Florida. Also, just excellent, great flavor. But, Barbarossa were kept separate, and, I really love it because I kind of get to own the restaurant and kind of make it, a little piece of my own while like guidance through Dave McGrogan and Dan Morris, who's one of our operating partners. Nice casual American Italian food. Very beautiful space. Bar Rosa stands for Red House. We're our brick red in on the downstairs. Great red leather booths. You go upstairs, you got that really white. Great brick with the white leather booths. Great. We do a lot of rehearsal dinners. We've even hosted a few weddings up there. Just a beautiful space. The guests that come into our place are actually great. Out of anywhere I've ever worked, I think we have the best guests. They're just very, understanding, great people, and I'm really excited for this new rollout of the menu. We were working with our COVID menu, and we've finally able to get some great staff. And, we still are, working on getting staff, but we're definitely at a very good staffing point for, how a lot of people are in this COVID time. And I think a big piece of that is culture. I'm big on building culture in my restaurants, and I think that's what reflects onto the guests. I have a very stern hand, but I'm also, a very fair leader. I've had a lot of great mentors over the years, coming out of the military, in an infantry unit, I was a little hard, coming off, expecting people to, respond differently than, in the actual working world. And I worked with a lot of great mentors over the years, and I've adapted my leadership. And I think that's shown on the restaurant with the staff that we have, and really just trying to grow people and really put out great food and great cocktails and just great service. That's really what Bar Rosa is all about. It's just great cocktails, great food, great people, down to the guests, to the staff, everybody. It doesn't matter the position in that restaurant. Everybody's just got, you can, when you come in, you can see it. It's just everybody's happy, smiling. It's great that they lifted the mask mandate because you can really see the true personality of our staff. Which I think is a big part of any restaurant, is the experience. It's a huge part. So we've always done the prefix menu for the theaters, but something that I've done with it is try to include new items that are on the menu, as well as trying to theme it towards that show that is in place. So and it's been a big hit. It's great for the guests, the theater guests, but it's open to anybody who's not coming to the show as well. Anybody can get it. It's a great price point. $50 is the price point. You get an appetizer, you get an entree, and you get a dessert. All handcrafted. Everything made in house. And they're all great selections of options. So that's something we're going to continue to do. We're actually rolling out one of those for the next show at the Walnut Street Theater, which is the Patsy Cline tribute, which will be huge. Patsy Cline's a legend. Although I've really realized the young generation, they're like, who's Patsy Cline? And I'm like, I'm not that old, I'm 32, but I'm like, geez, even I know who Patsy Cline is, So, the theaters have been great, but that's a big piece we're trying to do is drive that business to our local people and really get Philadelphia to enjoy our food. I mean, Philadelphia is obviously a huge restaurant city. I think before COVID, there was almost 4,000 restaurants in the city limits, and there's American Italian everywhere, and we stand out because of our great service and our great people and our great dishes, and, we're not that traditional old school Italian where the menu is going to be 15 years old, and stuff like that. We want to drive that new age, and especially down, like you said, to our cocktail, the wine menus and everything. So, especially with the private parties, we have such great spaces and such great private dining packages that, guests have a great time. Like I said, we actually had a wedding 2 weeks ago. It was a great time. They got married in one of our PDR rooms, which has a nice chandelier and some paintings from the David Rocco gallery down the street that he posts in our restaurant as well.
So you have a new menu coming out. So what's the highlights of the menu? I will be in Easter for the show, or pre-show. I have tickets to Easter. So I know the menu will come out just before that, I believe.
So I do believe April 19th is actually going to be the menu rollout date. Rolling out a new menu, there's always hiccups. So we are about a week behind. We are still aiming for April 12th. It's more likely to be April 19th now. However, Easter, I did come up with a Easter menu that we're going to offer some specials on. That's going to be great additions. I can talk about that real quick if you'd like. So, yeah, so we're going to have a nice Easter menu, and a couple big highlights. Like I said, my grandmother was a big inspiration in my cooking and all that. So one of these things she used to make was these deviled strawberries, and it's not your traditional like deviled egg, but it's nice fresh strawberry with this like lemon cream cheese filling, and that we fill them in there with some graham cracker crumble. So that's one of the appetizers we are going to add, which is going to be absolutely delicious. We have a basil tomato bacchi, which is your nice grape cherry tomatoes mixed in together, with some nice cheeses and some garlic and some breadcrumbs, and it's nice and baked. And then we're going to have a great Sicilian Benedict for our brunch menu going to dinner as well. It's going to have a ciabatta roll with some prosciutto, some fresh spinach, and a basil hollandaise sauce with, your typical poached egg. It's going to be, there's a couple other additions, great as well. But it's going to be a great push. So you'll definitely enjoy that menu. That is not a prefix. That's a separate, a la carte menu. And I think that'll, there's a lot of great additions. A nice smoked honey baked ham that I'll be making as well. So definitely come down for Easter. Enjoy, brunch and dinner. We'll be open 11 to 8 on Easter. So.